Hi everyone. Hi both Zoom and YouTube team. Very good evening and also good morning. Thank you for joining today's session. So we have discussed a couple of important topic in first 3 days, like types of soft seven principles, testing, software testing principles, and then what is manual testing, all the software development life cycle. Please go through those topics. It's all important, especially if you're from non-IT sector. Try to get familiar with these topics. And then in the previous class, we started with the types of manual testing, that is white box testing. The white box testing is nothing but it is done by the development team. A small recap. So, what is the point of view when a developer starts the testing is they worry about the internal structure and logic of the application code. So, every functionality, every requirement, whether the code logic is working, the functions are working like that, they will do it. They will develop it and they will test it. See, the testing will be done by the development team that is called unit testing. Everything I have seen some of the codes when I worked with dev team. Normally, what is the best approach is every functionality they try to create it as a method or function, user defined function with some business logic applied to it. And the same thing, like how unit testing, unit the development done by the development team and unit testing, same thing we will be also doing it when we move on to the Selenium. And all these fundamentals, how to create a functions, user defined method, everything we will learn first in the Java modules. So at that time, you can able to correlate with development versus automation testing. So they want to make sure module wise everything is perfect. Now comes the black box testing of our own area. Black box testing is nothing but we as a tester, we will not worry about the code. We will worry about only about if I send a data, what is the input, what is the expected output. This is what we will worry about it. So again, this black box testing is classified into two major one. One is functional testing, another one is non-functional testing. And the thing is, the functional and the non-functional, when we talk about this itself a very big area. In the QA itself, when you consider, there are so many testing teams are available. Functional testing, we have it, multiple testing team, and also non-functional testing like performance is there, security testing team is there. Lot of testing teams are there. It's not like a small branch, it's a very big branch when it comes for these two different. So we will try to focus on functional testing, mostly the openings, the automation test cases, especially the Selenium module, Java. We are doing a GUI testing, no, all those things related to functional testing. And of course, API testing also related to functional testing. Non-functional testing means like how the application performs at higher load. What if application get crash? Something performance wise they will check it. And this is also very important for the project point of view. 1 minute, team. Sorry, let's read that. Okay. So non-functional testing also another very important one. When it comes for number of openings, very less. Even now we can't find the functional testing itself, but why I just want to clarify now itself. In your resume, when you want to enter into IT, just focus more onto the functional testing, especially if you're from Indian market. Lot of projects in this only, but this is also most demanding one like performance testing, security testing. A lot of things are here, and the same non-functional testing also we can able to automate it. Respective tools are there. So next few days, we will try to focus on the functional testing. So what exactly functional testing? Before that itself, we saw manual testing, right? See, this is where even when you're in most of them, when you go and ask, they will say, I'm a manual tester, very blindly. You should not say that. To my knowledge, don't use such words. You're doing manual testing. Don't tell like that. It's like a low graded word. Of course, you do with the help of your knowledge. That is fine. Rather than be specific, you are only going to do, but are you working in a functional testing or non-functional testing? That you have to be very specific in the CV. So when we talk about a functional, in simple, you are checking the individual functionality or feature or the requirement or every functions. Is it working according to the requirement? Like this definition everywhere it will come whether it meets the specified requirement. The primary goal of the functional testing to ensure that the application works correctly without any defects deviation from the desired behavior. This is how the application should be given. You're giving an input, output should come like this only. So that we are testing it. So our major focus during this, the testers focus on external behavior. See, keyword. Internal behavior means unit testing, developers. External behaviors, we, testers will evaluate and whether it fulfills its intended purpose, we functional specification, requirement, everything according to the stakeholders or business analyst or product owners or client, whatever it is. So in simple, we make sure we meets the end user needs and expectation. That's what we do the functional testing. So when we talk about a functional and non-functional testing, just to give you an idea how an IT company will be there. Uh, whenever I get some example, then and there I will try to put it. For example, in a project I worked, it is having 100 members. Okay. In this 100 members, let's assume you have 9 teams, those who do the functional testing. 9 teams in sense manual testing. They try to do 9 teams, and one team is for automation. We will do the automation. This is a separate roadmap. In this, see, 9 teams means every team will work in a different module, different environment. So for example, there is something called quarterly release, Q1, Q2, Q3. Every 4 months, whatever they develop it, they will put it into that. They means testing team and the development team, they work together and finally put that into the production. So there will be some release. Before that release, this non-functional team will come into the picture. Okay, now we are going to put it in the production, right? So if you are going to put it in the production, whether the application should not get crashed, data security, many types of testings they will be doing continuously for days. It's like they open a bridge. Bridge means like a conference call. It will run for 2 days, 3 days. They will keep on testing all the scenarios. They will have very big data set, separate big database setup for testing. The data will be similar to the real-time data. So in sense, it means what? This is having a very high work pressure. I'm saying now itself so that you should know which one to choose it, because every team they do this. For every team, there is only one non-functional, or usually we will let's be very specific, performance testing. Okay, performance testing team will be, this is also like testing team. There will be one team for this entire project, same like testing. Here maybe like 2 to 3 resource, but when you come for the automation team, maybe 10 resource, but remaining will be a functional resource. So what gives this clarity is, when you try for a job, you have to try for this area, not for this area. This later you can learn it, but this is a very complex area. You must have a knowledge of this and try to move on to this, because here also 10 opening is there. So 10 positions are there. So it means This is the place, or this is how a real project, how it will run. Okay. Just gave you an mindset. That's why I'm not focusing too much on this part. Let's focus on the functional part. So when we do a functional testing, again, this unit testing comes as a part of functional testing, which will be done by the development team. Now, today we are going to focus on this integration testing. See, this is what our daily task. Daily, we are going to work on this type of a testing only. And we have something called system testing. Here, both functional and non-functional guys will come into this picture, and then end to end, and then we have something called acceptance. As an user, how we have to test it. So, uh, but what is the thing is, this is the most daily activity task. We'll be doing it before going for release. Release in sense, okay, quarterly release. They will try at the end. They will come up with this. Suppose if automation team is there, automation team in the entire automation test case, they can run it in different environment. Okay, we will go very depth about integration testing because this is what we're going to do it. So what is integration testing? See, it's a level of software testing. What it focus? Sorry, 1 minute. It is verifying the interaction and interfaces between the different components or modules. Please, these are all the keyword. For example, let's take, is there any examples? Okay. Okay, I take this as an example. I'm sure everyone would have purchased something in online. So first, before that, we will have a login, or then we will have a registration. After that, you will search the product, and then you will decide, okay, this is the product I want. So 1, 2, 3 itself there, and proceed for checkout. After that, we will enter the shipping and billing details. Then we'll go for the payment. Select what type of a payment, proceed for payment, complete the payment gateway, and verify the payment status. After that, you will track the status of that, whether when we are getting such things are there. See, in reality, this is one module, this is another module, search is another module, this is another module. So they have developed like multiple modules. Let's put 10 modules. Okay. They have developed 10 modules. So in the unit testing, what they have done is they tested as an individually. So here in the definitions, what they say, interaction and interfaces between different components or modules. This is what they say, different components or modules. Usually we say modules, we say tech guys will say components. Okay, both of them are same. So they have integrated this. They have integrated. They made everything. So this you're going to put input, and here we should get the output. Again, this is a black box testing, right? So when they do this, the main goal of that is we have to check whether it's properly integrated. Integration is to ensure individual units or unit of code which is already been unit tested. See, it is already tested. Then when work together as expected, when integrated into a large parts of application. So we have integrated every 10 modules. Now, is it working from starting till end? If it works, then integration test case is passed. Here, so why we want to do that? Anyhow, you may think if you're from non-IT, anyhow, it is tested as an unit testing, right? How come it will fail? See here itself, now let's put you have the web application, you have the front end GUI, which is developed using Java, let's put. And then here you have the database where you have all the data, you will keep it here. So this has the interaction between everything. Now, suddenly one more person is coming, payment. Nothing. The payment means what nowadays? We have so many payment: internet banking, credit card, debit card, GPay, phone pay, QR code. So this is the biggest module. So every payment having their own API. So now I have to tell what is API, application programming interface. In simple word, okay, you have the WhatsApp. You can use AP interface means it will show the functionality to the user, hiding the internal implementation. It means what you are using the Facebook API or WhatsApp API means you can do the call, you can do video call, you can text it, but you can't see the what is their internal code. So it means what their entire product is so safe. That is why all the companies started coming up with API. That's why API testing is very, very important. API means application programming interface. So when multiple API like Google API is there, GPay, everything is an API. Now, if you want to sell your product or come into the market, you create an API. You say, okay, you use my product and pay this much amount. Like that, they will come up with the API, but you can't see their internal code. See, when these much of API interface, when if you want to make this end-to-end scenario, you have to integrate these many guys into a single thing. That's where in the day one we saw the architecture diagram. So individually we tested. This DB testing is another team. DB guys are there. This is another team. Multiple development team. Testing team is there. So when you integrate everything, definitely program will create a problem. It's program in sense, it's not just the code. Remember, it is not just the code. They have written code 99% accurately. But then also, what will happen? When you test it, it will not work. Maybe a database issue, or maybe any API issue, or because of version mismatch. Website, say GUI front end is itself having multiple versions. If you're developed using a Python is having a different version, programming is having a different version. So many APIs will be in the real-time project. So that is why after integration, you will get lot of problems. Maybe when most of the non-technical team, usually we make a fun of a development team. Usually what we say, development team, when we say it is not, testing team used to say it is not working in my system, and testing team say it is not working in my system, development team will say it is working in my system. Then we used to make fun of them, are you going to give your system or my system? So you can go and check these types of memes. The thing is, as a developer, that person written right code. As a tester, you tested, it is not working. Then how come suddenly that side is also correct, I'm also correct, then how come it is not working? Means because of lot of interconnections. It's a very, very, very complex area. I can long back we have seen one simple interface like Uber architecture. See, see, try to understand, this is what you must know it. And this is just first they try to tell the requirement system design. Uber, most of them use a request rider cancelled or found, denied, rider accepted, trip started, completed, payment, like this, it happened. So this is a front end, initial plan. But when they go for the architectural diagram, you see here how many things are there. Finally, we see again saying we tester, internal implement. This is not important for me. I am just testing input. I'm sending input. Are we getting the expected output? See, as a functional tester, you can think, but our ideology is to reach the automation testing. So you must aware about this. You see here itself how many interfaces we are getting. And Hadoop, again, database, backup data center, and then they comes up with some other AI algorithm, and lot of HTTP request API stuff has comes into the picture, database. So here you can see a lot of things, the data will flow. It's like you start demand, supply. Before that, the data goes to so many modules, are so many interfaces, are so many API, are so many component. After that only we will get it. So now you should try to understand the pain point of being a developer. It's like the code may be right what they have written in most of the cases, but the problem where comes is when it comes for integration. So our duty is to test that integration, whether it is properly working or. So what are all some important why we need to do the integration testing? Of course, the validity, this is the first thing, other the data flows or not. You started with one user, at the end for that user only something needs the expected output you should get it. You book a, okay, you're booking some maybe bus, not sorry, maybe car, any travel, then that you only should get it. It should not go to someone. Okay, you book for a car, it goes for two-wheeler or three-wheeler means defect. So that is what the validating data flow. And we early detection of the defects, of course this will come how yes this is first phase of our testing, right? How early we find the defect, we can save the cost. Interfaces, see why for this one word only I showed you these many diagrams. In the future we have API module, but remember the main purpose of integration testing is to verify the system interfaces, APIs, and end to end from the starting till the end. Is it working? Is it properly collaborated? Validating the architecture. Just now I showed you the architecture diagram. So this is why we are doing the integration testing. The examples here. Now we decided, okay, we are going to do the integration testing. Now there are some approaches there or methodologies, strategies, you can say any word. So what are all those things? First one is Big Bang approach, incremental approach, stub and driver approach. Again, it's not in our hand, mostly depends upon the methodology you work. This is waterfall or V model. This is an agile. This is also sometimes agile. So this is here, whatever we did, this also comes here. So we are going to discuss one by one everything and see the difference between everything. What is the plus of this, advantage, disadvantage, because this is what our area. Here only we are going to do it. So first one is Big Bang approach. So what they say is, oh, for example, in our example, we came up with like 10 modules, no? So 10 modules they have integrated. After completing all the 10 modules, then they give it to the QA team, ask us to test it. So that is what Big Bang approach. So software development approach where entire software application is developed or modified without following a structure, whatever it is. All the components integrated together at once and testing is performed on the entire system. Without conducting unit testing, okay, leave those things. So in simple, after completing all the components, they integrate together and give it to us. We need to do the testing. So what is an advantage is quick developments. This type of things can be okay for only the small size project. Now you know what is small size project. We already discussed in the software development lifecycle. And it's a very quick development. But what is the problem is high risk, very, very high risk. Something because you're trying to test at the end all the things together means in that which is the most defect clustering area, we have a lot of risk factor in that and difficult issue identification. See, this is what the most interesting factor for the development team. You have the 10 modules. Suppose if we started integrating and did this as a QA testing means either in these two, it's a defect, they can find it. When we raise the defect, they will test it, fix it. But now they integrated all the 10 modules. Now you are raising a defect means The defect is coming because of this or this or this or this. It is very, very complex for the development team to find it. So what's the problem for us? We are the testing team, right? Means the problem is unless they won't fix it, you have to support them. That's another big. How early they fix it. If we early test it and fix the defect, means there is no work for us. We can be relaxed. But if the issue is still there, trust me, if they sit for 15 hours, you have to support them. This is what I do. So this again, very, very tough to identify when you go for the Big Bang approach. That's where Agile came, and delayed feedback, limited adaptability. So we are giving a feedback at the later part, right? So that's the problem. So Big Bang approach is not a good one, to be frank. Now, not that much project there. More nowadays, everything goes with the incremental approach. So in this incremental approaches means part by part they are trying to integrate it. So testing is done by joining two or more modules which are logically related. So logically related means, for example, you have a current balance. When you withdraw your money, what should happen to current balance? It should reduce. So these both are dependent to each other. So first they will develop this one, two modules, integrate and give it to us. So it is very easy for us to test it. Suppose if I say, okay, you have, let's put you have $100. I have taken $50 means now I'm getting a successful message here. Yes, money is withdrawal means this module is working. But here, still, if it is $100 means they can easily go and fix the defect. Okay, the problem is with the current balance. So in this module, I will go and fix it. Suppose if you have like 10 modules means which module is not giving or information or data is not flowing will be very complex for them. So that's why the companies are moving towards the incremental approach. Trust me, always the process they will define for the development team only. The other related modules are added, tested for the proper function. Process continues until all the modules are tested, joined successfully. Suppose you have a 10 modules, 2, 3, 4, keep on incrementing. At one point of time, you will have a 10 modules together, you will test it. This can be done in three ways. That is top-down approach, bottom-up approach, and the sandwich. Top-down is quite important one. See, where is this? Okay, bottom-up, top-down. This comes with the. Okay, let's go with the bottom-up approach. So what is the thing here they are exactly doing is now let me try to fix two terminology. I will say, okay, lower level modules. Another one is higher level modules. Another one is higher level modules. So this is the higher level modules. This is the lower level modules. From the top we are seeing, right? So in the bottom up approach, what we will do is they will first start creating or developing the deposit, withdrawal, transfer. And then what they do, they will integrate and ask us to test it. So first whether we will check this is working, because deposit, withdrawal, what should happen. So we will do all the test case. We will start from the bottom. So bottom up. So it goes from the lower level modules to the higher level modules. So this is the lower level module. This is the higher level modules. So what is the problem here is suppose if this module is not there, I can't test it. So that's one of the problem. Another problem is suppose very important modules, if it is available in that place, it will be tested at the later stage. So these are all some problem when we go from lower, that is bottom up integration testing. So what is the advantage? First, see, fault localization is easy because they are giving this module, you test it. If we raise a defect, they know who developed it, they will go and fix it. Like this, very easy for them to fix it. Fault localization, this is what they said. And the possibility to obtain early prototype. So at one point of time, suddenly we have three things integrated. See, they are trying to compare this with the Big Bang. This is, we have to wait for the months to see the product, but when you come for this, maybe in within a few weeks, you will see the working prototype. Okay, this is how the application is there. Maybe in 3 to 4 weeks, you can start the testing. So that's one big of this biggest advantage. As I said, if the critical modules, if it is in the topmost, uh, so okay, bottom up, no, sorry, guys. Okay, we starting with the bottom up for easier. No time is wasted waiting for all modules to complete. And what is the drawback is if the critical modules in the top in this place means we have very less time for the testing. That is again the quality is not much better. And here we don't have early prototype. Prototype means the real working product, you cannot see it. I think I said a prototype. I'm sorry, I wrongly said that is for the top up, top down. Now we are focusing on the bottom up. Here there is no prototype. I have a comparison chart. I will show that at the end. So this is the problem of this. So two problem. If important modules on the top, it is not properly tested and there is no prototype. Entire product, a prototype means end-to-end entire product, I cannot see it. So this is what the advantage and disadvantage. Now comes the, okay, now comes the top down. From the top, you're trying to test. Here comes this guy, stub. Stub means, see, this is again, you now they are going to, the developer is working on creating the login application, okay, or current balance. They are trying to work on these two things. Before developing the product itself, they will create something called dummy, dummy, dummy method or class they create, and they will keep it ready for the transfer, withdrawal, deposits. So when simply when they send, you call this method, it will say deposited successfully. See, the code is not implemented, but you log in, you do something, it will go and send the data. They will assign or do a setup in such a way that yes, the data is successfully deposited, withdrawal. So it means what, you can able to feel it, you will have the prototype when you come with the top down. Again, here also fault localization is easier, and this is what the advantage. Early prototype, we will have readily working things, but critical modules are tested priority, major flaws. But the drawback is again, if the critical modules, what if it is at the lower level, see, lower levels are not tested inadequately and needs many steps. So I'm just showing a simplest diagram. Suppose if we have 50 steps, you have 50 to 60 modules in the bottom. 60 modules classes you have to create and do the setup. See, that itself will take 2 to 3 days. So this will again consume time, unnecessary headache for the development team. So this is a drawback. Now everywhere we are saying like inadequate time, whether we are getting a time to test. See, I'll tell the reality. I think those who are already into functional, they will understand. For example, that they, let's put, okay, okay, 1 minute. Suppose the development team, okay, let's put, it's very slow. You are into the development phase. The development phase, they are saying like, I need 10 days to develop the product. Now QA team said, okay, you asked me how many days? 10 days, no? So for me, just the proposals will go, okay? The proposals will go like, project plan will go like, okay, for me, 5 days for testing. Okay, this is what the proposal, and this is our deliverable date, delivery. So this is the place, everyone, this date will be fixed. But what happens really, these guys will consume 2 more days. Trust me, this will happen in all the project. Now you may say, I have to delay my, or I have to add 2 more days, right? This delivery date needs to be added 2 more days, right? But it won't happen. Here, we instead of 5 days, now we will get 3 days to test the entire application. Happens in every project. So what's the problem? Saturday, Sunday, you need to work and you have to sit for hours, like 15 hours, 16 hours last before going into the live. Entire day also you have to sit and you need to give delivery on time. So this is what, see, you have a 5 days to test something means you can do it daily 10 test cases, you can execute with a better quality. But now suddenly in a day you need to execute 20 or 25 test case means what will be the quality of that? Of course, the quality will be affected, no? That's what they said. The testers have inadequate time will not be there. So this is one evergreen problem you will face it when if you are as a functional testers. For automation, we will not have these issues. Now we understood what's the problem. And so top down is having one problem, bottom up is having some problem. So they came up with a sandwich. So it means what? You can guess it by now. They will start from the top and also they will start from the bottom. Hybrid module. So that advantage of both the top down and bottom up will combine together. This is much better approach. So mostly they will follow sandwich only. It depends on the development team. And then there is a third type. We'll come to this. Big Bang done, incremental done, and then stub and driver. This is also similar to top-down approach only. So what they are saying, they are bringing the two terminology, stub and then driver. So they, whatever, for example, we have created a module, right? This module, then you have modules like this. So this is nothing but the higher module. This is nothing but the lower module. So lower modules, we call it as stub. Higher module, we call it as drivers. So what they do is, are used to test when dependent modules are, suppose if now you're going to work on this means, what will you do? So this is having a dependency on this. This is having a dependency on this means you can create both the stub and driver. Initially, I said only you can, when you come from the top to bottom, you will create only stub. But suppose if you're in middle, what will you do? You have in the upper mod, in the upper modules, what we will say, higher module, we call it as a drivers. So we created, so in this example, we want to calculate the, let's assume this is the salary calculation. So you want to test it. This module is ready, but the employment management or the tax detections are not ready. So what we will do, we'll create a stub and we create a driver. So this is going to be a driver, this is going to be a stub, and we will test it. They will create the, they will put the application and give it to us, we will test it. Almost this is like an upgradation of top down approach if you're going to start in the middle. So in see, this is all theory. This development guys, based on the scenario or situation, they will pick it something, they will complete it and give it to us, we will test it. So now when we come for the discussion point of view on my team, there is a query. Yeah, sure. Sandwiches doesn't have okay, sandwich you want a disadvantage. I'll tell you, that's why I came here. Everything is having a disadvantage. You thought it not. So Big Bang, what is the problem? What is the good part is the quick, if all modules are ready, we can test it. So that is one biggest advantage, no? And suitable for only small system. But it's a very, very difficult to debug in sense in the development point of view. Testing occurs late. When you start testing late, risk is high. So Big Bang, it's not a good one unless the requirement is very stable. When you come from top down, we have prototype, major design issues found early, but lower modules may remain untested for longer because you're going to start at the later part. Bottom up, lower module tested thoroughly, bugs found in the foundation early. Here you will do it. Mostly when you imagine the lower modules are very important modules. Any flow you take, login, register and all top module. Lower module only transactions, everything will happen in the lower module. That's what they say foundational components resolved early. No working prototype. That is a problem. That's the only problem, no working prototype. And when you're going to combine, you're going to get a benefit of these two, efficient for complex system. But what is most problem is it is very complex to implement. You need a proper planning because you need a lot of like stubs, drivers, everything. So when you come for this, allow even when certain modules are not ready, flexible. Again, additional. Here you need more time for creating the stubs in the top down. Here you need for stubs and drivers. Again, this is not our headache. This is a development team headache for us, whether the application is there or not. Are we going to test it or not? But you must know what's happening in the back end, which approach the development team is following. All interview areas, these are all. So now why we need to do the integration testing? Again, this comes the important one, verifies the module inter interactions, the first one. So we know exactly how it is interacting from the starting till the end, all the things, how it is happening. We will identify the defects early, and then we know how the data flow detects issues like a real world scenario. See, sometimes when you test it as separately or separate module in the real world scenario, when we test it, it may not properly work. So this type of issues we can able to find it in the integration testing. And system reliability risk and all we are reducing before the production itself. Very good incremental development, end-to-end flow, and we can able to uncover performance bottleneck. So this is very important. For example, normally on salary day you open, everything will be fast, but when you want to send the money it will be very slow. So it means what, more persons are looking into it. But in the normal condition, let's assume always this money is going very slowly, or else you click on I want to view last month statement, a summary, it's taking more time to display. It means what, from the database it is coming very slowly. I can able to find that bottleneck tend to the development team is database team, all the guys will be there. They will go and fix it in the back end. How fast, how is there any way I can able to display it? Okay, you are asking for 100 rows of data, let's give a filter. I will give only 25 rows with page 1, page 2, page 3, next. So they will come up with some better plan to fine tune the performance, and then ensures compatibility third party system. See, like payment means now many payment companies are there, GPay, Paytm. So when we integrate only, we will know whether it is going to work or not, how it's properly working, whether the datas are properly displaying everything. Especially when you take healthcare domain, multiple parties will come. You're trying to take a data, whether that data alone it is displaying, or some other data also it is showing patient stuff, or like credit card, high sensitive data stuff and all. When you retrieve, it should not give other data. So this they will check it, and this again at the end builds user trust. User trust is everything. So this is what all about the integration testing. So just drop a message, everyone good till now? got an idea about what is an integration testing? Drop a text message in the Zoom. At least you should be able to have some idea. Okay, development is not easier. Okay, perfect. Because this is what we are going to do, team. Trust me, there is no big difference between development and the automation tester. Development team uses Java. We also uses Java programming language. They uses Maven project structure. We uses Maven project structure. And they uses JUnit framework. We uses TestNG framework. They coded, tested in the front end. They create some application front end, connect to the database. We create an automation test case to test them. They follow some some architecture they will follow. We will follow page object model. So it means what you're going to do the unit wise testing, integration testing, you will do these things. You're going to do it in future. So that's why I'm giving more importance now to these two topics. So that development, when we go for Java stuff, you will be ready. Okay. Before moving into this system testing where both functional and non-functional testing comes into the picture, now in this integration testing, usually in real time, we used to say SIT. They will not test this up. Actually, we need to test it separately. They will create system integration testing, SIT test cases. This is a very famous terminology. You can hear it in project. They created a test case which covers both the scenarios and do it. So in simple, an end-to-end scenario, you're going to test it. Okay. System will go later. For now, let's focus in depth about integration testing. Here itself, we have like three types of testing. Actually, many things are there, but specifically three types. And then trust me, this is an interview area. You do this, you do a mistake here, you're out of interview. So this is a very easiest topic, and you have to know the difference between all these three types of testing. So, okay, what is those three types of testing? Okay, my pen. 1 minute. Okay, let's see that interview area. Let's try to put this also into this topic so that in the next class I may start with the system testing. I may take additional time. That's what indirect meaning. See, there are three terminology. One is can open and open. Okay. See, one is smoke testing, another one is sanity testing, another one is regression testing. Okay, another one is regression testing. Now we have, let's create a banking application. We have the banking application. The banking application, if I want to test the entire end-to-end, entire application, they created 250 test cases. 250 test cases means flow. One simple example, login into application, uh, checking the balance, current account, log out. One. Another test case, login, checking the balance, transfer within the bank, log out. Then another scenario, transfer outside the bank. Then another transfer, international transaction, do the credit card payment. So like this, we say that as a flow test case scenario flow. I will say test case. Okay, 250 test case we have it. I will tell in reality, one resource, one end to end. Here itself, we will come up with this word simple test case, simple, medium. I'm increasing the complexity. Please listen carefully. All interview area, simple, medium, complex test cases. Okay, TC. We will have it. Every project when you join, they will have something called their own TSP. Daily, they will define some point, the productivity. For example, simple means it's 1 point, medium means it's 2 point, complex means it is 4 point. Suppose you have to achieve 8.8 TSP test case per day or test script, whatever it is. In terms of automation, manual, it is same. What you need to do? per day you have to complete means either you can take two complex test case or else eight simple test case or else four medium. So how we will make simple, medium, complex, we will see it later. Just I'm introducing those words because you have to understand the importance of this. So in nutshell, you are going to execute an average of like eight simple test case, let's assume. In real, when I discuss with many students, they will say 8 to 10 test case flow. If you're going to work, you are working in a better project. If it is 12 to 15 means you are having some bad time. It means it's very, very complex. You got into such projects. Now, this can be done by only one resource. Okay. Suppose if I daily now we want to test three ways. One is smoke, another one is sanity, another one is regression. Slides we will see later. Now, above this, dev team is there. Development, development team, they have like 50 requirements. Let's keep it, okay? We are in middle of the thing. They already 45 completed. 45 complete. They are giving to us. Okay. They are giving to us. Okay. We not start the testing. So 45 requirement completed. Let's assume this itself will cover like 200 test cases. Just random numbers, no? So I can't make, see, one person can expect maybe 10 test case means just for one small update, I can't allow the entire team to, okay, go and execute 200 test case. I can't save them. Okay, suppose if it is not you, they applied some changes here because of that something is not working means you tested like 50 test case later you understood, oh my God, the application is not working means is it not a waste of time? Think logically, think from the business point of view, management point of view. You tested like 50 test case, then you understood, oh my God, application is not working. Then what's the use? There is no use, no? So they are bringing this trick. First trick is called smoke testing. Okay, what does that smoke testing mean? See, when this terminology will be that it is called build. They develop some Java program, Python program, whatever. Finally, they will convert to jar or war file and they will deploy into environment. Environment mean let's consider it as an URL like www.com something. They are going to give that URL. Once they give it, we want to test 250 test case. I will not start all the 250 test case. What I will do, this 250 test case, I will convert into like five test cases. Five major test cases. I will test that first. Okay, for example, you take any domain. Banking is a domain I worked. And banking domain means what I will check. I have to check bank balance. I should able to do within bank. I should able to do outside bank. Credit card payment. Then what else? Anything else? Yeah, one more functionality. This is the five important functionality I will tell you. But because I'm not going to do a daily international transaction, I'm not that much guy. So think in terms of a user. So fight test case. If this is not working, what is the use of testing rest of the thing? It's going to be waste of time, no? So that's where the smoke testing comes into the picture. So smoke testing means I am going to check whether the build is stable or not. Stable or not, yes, I can able to see the user, I can able to do the transaction, everything is working fine, credit card. So important, if we have a 10 modules, from every module I will take some one test case, or not even 10 module, I will take the most important end to end. Remember, end to end complex test cases. I said no. This one I will keep it as a smoke testing. Actually, this needs to be done by the testing team. In some of the company, who will do? No, development team will do, because night 12 o'clock they will deploy it. At that time itself, development team will test it and give sanity. They will give a go. This term will come. Go or no go. Go means you can start the testing. No go means sorry, still the build is having some problem. You cannot do the testing. This is how things will come. Okay. But for now, let's put we are going to test it. Here, if this works fine, then comes the sanity and the regression. So we are not doing automation, we are doing manual testing. This 200 test case, if I want to run an average one resource, let's keep one resource, 10 test cases. Then 200 resource, 200 test case means how many resource I wanted per day. How many resource per, okay, let's put I have only 5 resource. Then in a day, I can complete only 50 test case. So if I want to complete 200 test case, I need 4 days to complete to complete the entire application to test it. Okay. See, this is very high billable for everything. I can't ask everyone, okay, go and test all the 200 test case. No, we can't do that. So what we do is we will take, so 10 modules are there. From every module, okay, take two test case. Here we have like 5 test case. No, here we have like 250 test cases. See, these are all the numbers they will ask in interview. That's why I'm giving with example. Sanity testing, from this 200 we can make it around like 30 to 35 test cases. So 30 to 35 test cases, is it possible to complete in a day or not? See, it's possible, right? 5 resources, we can complete it just like that. No, everyone getting the point. They added something, we can able to test it. Important functionality is working, we can able to test it. No, that is called the sanity testing. So you regression means entire application, that is called regression. Entire application, subset of that is called what? Sanity. This guy, this is one regression. Keep this point in mind. Now they incremented. Now they added next day when you come, they said, okay, dude, I added all the rest of the requirement. You start the testing means you should not go and start. Okay, let's put like 47, from 45 to 47, 2 requirements added. So first you will start the smoke testing. The build is stable or not. Yes, then I'll go for sanity. If this is working, mostly this test case, it's an art again. You should know how to choose it. When you write the test cases, when you see the domain, when you get the domain knowledge, you know how to do it. From this 250, you will take this test case. If you test, if it is working, very good. Yes, nice. Then, so same day they keep put building, or in the next day it will come. At Then what is regression testing? So you are taking a, because you don't have enough bandwidth to complete all the regression testing in a single go. So we are taking a subset and doing, that's called a sanity testing. Now regression testing means any small change in the test case. And for example, now you added 2 more. Due to the change in the existing application, we have to make sure the previous, which is already working, no, 47 requirement, we have to check that is not affected. So that is what the ultimate aim of a regression. So in manual testing, trust me, they don't do regression daily basis. So before release, they will go and check it in a single go. So if you're going to work in a manual testing, mostly you will into the sanity testing, because it's not easy to do 250 test case just like that. You have to do the data setup, environment, many things are there. The regression will go for like at least 1 or 2 weeks, depends on the number of team members and the total number of test case. This is why automation came into the picture. See, this 250 test case, if I want to run, how long it will take? No, just 4 hours. 4 hours. You give me 4 environment. I put 4 missions parallelly. Then what? In a day, I can able to test almost like 1,000 test case, means 250 in 4 environment, SIT, UAT. So that is where automation plays a bigger role. So it means what? Good part being a technical resource. This cannot be done manually. This cannot be done manually. So definitely you take any big company, they need an automation team. And this is the test cases. They work and they find a defect. It's a very stable or unstable environment. Lot of issues they will find it. So defect knowledge you should have in depth. Here, flow knowledge. So this is what the three types of testing. Now we will see, we will walk through it. Some of the keyword which I'm going to tell, please note it down. So what's the, see, what is the smoke testing? It's a software testing process, determines whether the software build is, this word you should tell what, build is stable or not. That is smoke. And the smoke testing is a confirmation for QA team to proceed further with software testing. Here itself, no, I'm having a problem. Don't do it. It's a waste of time. We will tell to development team, please go and put another build. Another build means go and check every integration is properly done and give it to me again. So smoke testing there, 1 minute. Okay. So it's consists of a minimal set of test cases, each build to test software functionality. It is also known as build verification or confident. It giving you confident. It checking the build, no? So build verification. Why we do a smoke testing? When to do a smoke testing, sorry. It is done when a new functionality of the softwares are developed, integrated with the existing build. I said no, 45 plus 2. They added, now we will start it. And when they added, I make sure all the critical functionality is working fine. So in this testing method, the development team deploys build in QA and the so you have the regression, in that the subset is sanity, in that the subset is what's smoke. Don't swap the word smoke and the sanity. It's in a famous interview question, what is the difference between smoke and sanity? So in this testing, we just set the subset of the test case taken. We will run the test case on the build and make sure all the critical functionality it works. And if there is any error, we have to make sure. Oh, we have to tell to the dev team, they will fix it. Once this test case is passed, then I'll go for the sanity. So who will do the smoke testing? Again, it's a debatable area. In reality, who will do is, as per the book definitions, testing team needs to do it. But in so many of the project which I work, like banking and all, we will have a batch process. In late night they will run the batch patch, lot of things will happen, so we will not be there. Support team will be there, early morning they will test it. Sometime on-site team will be the development team, offshore will be the testing team. So at that time they will test smoke testing and they will send you a mail, yes, go, you can start the sanity. So morning when you come, you see that mail and start the testing. So, but the definition, after release a build to the QA environment, smoke testing is performed by the QA engineer, QA lead. It's again a important resource, only will do it. Whenever there is a new build, QA team determines the major functionality in the application, performs the smoke testing. Showstoppers in the application keyword, note it down. QA teams check for showstoppers in the application. So what, something is not working, that's it. I don't want to waste time on it. I will stop the testing. And why we need to do it? It plays an important role in the software development. We make sure that system properly works in the initial stage and it will save the effort. As a result, smoke test brings system to a good state. Once we complete smoke testing only, we will start the functional means sanity testing. Again, we will find the showstoppers and it is done for every release. With most of the defects are identified in the initial stage itself. And then with the smoke testing, we can simply detection correction of major defects. So in the initial state itself, we can able to do find the problem, major severity defects. You take, for example, you take e-commerce. If payment is not working, is there any use of running an e-commerce? Tell me. If payment is not working, is there any use of running an e-commerce? You're testing a for sanity testing, smoke testing. Put it in the chat. Is there any use? If payment is not working, testing it, there is no use, right? How they give one important thing is they have to purchase. So you put YouTube. YouTuber earning payment is different, but YouTube main functionality video should load at least some better quality. If it is so low quality, then there is a problem with the software. So there will be some major functionality we can able to find such defects in the smoke testing itself. Advantage, very easy because there's less number of test cases. No, we can early improve quality, reduce risks easier, save time, effort very quickly. All these things. So what if we don't do smoke testing? Interview question. If you don't perform a smoke testing, defects may encounter in the later stage where fixing of the cost is it's very high. We know that. And after running many test cases, you will come to know that application is not ready for testing, waste of effort. So we should always go for the smoke testing. Now comes the sanity testing. Sanity is testing done during the release phase of check main functionality of the application without going deeper. So end to end, see, it becomes a subset of regression testing, which we have already discussed. I cannot test the entire application, so I'm taking an important test case from every module and I'm testing it. At times, due to the release time constraint, see, release time constraint, rigorous regression testing cannot be done. So sanity testing does that part by checking main functionality. Another name, surface level testing. Because I can't test all 250 in a single go. So it's a subset of regression. When it comes for sanity, the main focus what we are doing. Functionality is working as expected in all the domain. Smoke means build stable. Sanity means functionality, main functionality from each module of its tester. So see the difference. Initial build when the software is relatively unstable. So here only we will do the smoke testing, whether this application is up, stable or not. And once the relatively stable and build means they keep on adding the code and asking us to test, there comes the sanity testing. If this pass only, you will go for it. Once this is done, then you go for the regression testing. So there comes the regression testing. So the again, see, the definition is important. It is also a type of a recent program or code change has not adversely affected the existing feature. Understand it? They made some changes in the code that doesn't affect the rest of the thing which was already working. That is why we are doing regression testing. Of course, we will find the defects. And it's nothing but full or partial of entire test cases which are re-executed to ensure existing functionality are working fine. And we make sure new code changes which you didn't affect the existing functionality. Old codes are still working fine due to the latest change. So that is what in a different way they are saying it. The need of regression again, entire application is working fine after adding the new functionality also. So this is why we are performing the regression. How we will do it? There are three ways we can do it. About I will complete it 5 minutes. Retest all, regression test selection, prioritizing. See, in one of the project I worked, it was having 450 test case. I'm taking the real data somewhat near to that. If I want to run 450 test case, it takes long day. I don't have a time of it. I may have like 2 to 3 days. So three ways I can do it. One is retest all, first approach. If we have a time, all 450 retest it. No, I don't have the time. You can only choose some 250 test case only you can able to run this, because billing is that much only available. Time constraint means from this 450 I will take 250. How will you decide it? Because you know in this domain which page is mostly used, which module is mostly used, those things I will test it. Then also you have a 250, no? Suppose even less time I don't have, means in that I will prioritize. Defect clustering principle I will apply. In the 450 test case, where two trick I will follow, where more number of defect, that test case I will choose it, and where new code added, that module, I will prioritize and test it. So based on the time, we will do it. Retest all, take a part of it, which is important module, and then prioritize, which is very, very critical module. This again we will revisit, because this is what we will do it in even automation testing. Choosing of a regression suit is very, very important. During automation class, I will teach you. So in order to do the regression testing, we need to first debug, identify the bug. Once it is fixed, same thing, not a big definition. So retest the entire suit, and you have to select highly reusable test cases, which is used again and again, rather than choosing something which is not used continuously. So many factors are there. It's an interview question. Tell me the factors which you will decide to choose the regression test selections, and prioritizing according to business impact, critical or frequently used functionality. This we will use it. And this is what this answer you have to tell. Test case having more defects, which are more visible to user. Verify code features, core features, not core feature, important features. Undergone more and recent code added, integration test case, complex test case, this boundary value, this all these things we will see. And test case which already failed, all these we have to consider in order to choose the regression testing. So that's about these three types of testing. Trust me, you must rewatch this again, get clarity on sanity, smoke, and regression. All this material already available where here. You go there, this place. I added it because I, with examples, it is available. Can go and find it again. Still, I regression and all I didn't add it. It will be added in the upcoming days. Parallelly working on it. So integration testing, everything you will get the thing. So you just go and explore this. All the examples, notes, it's already available. So that's for today, team. I'm going to end the live, and Zoom team, please stay in call. We'll discuss on all your queries. So the plan is weekly, 2 days we will have a class, live class. So mostly next will be on Tuesday and Thursday. Next live session for manual testing. 26-20, we are starting automation from 25-26. So those things I will discuss offline with the Zoom team. Thank you, everyone. I'm ending the stream.